Part 66. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 651. Guyao, who was intent on transcending the calamity, did not notice that someone was coming, but Qi Changjai seemed to be aware of it, but he soon received a voice transmission from Immortal Emperor Yuheng, and he respectfully bowed to the location where Immortal Yuheng was hiding. Because of the previous use of the Vulcan body forging method, the tyranny of the physical body has increased by more than one rank, so this time Guyao's tribulation was extremely smooth. Even though the immortal tribulation that day was extremely powerful, anyone with eyes could see that it was better than the ordinary celestial tribulation. It came much more violently, but the people who crossed the calamity completely endured it. After absorbing the rain from heaven and earth, Guyao has a storage ring in the palm of his hand. At the same time, there is also the sound transmission of Master's spiritual sense. Only then did he know that Immortal Emperor Yuheng and Master have come to protect him. Excited, but regretful, listening to what Master said, they can't openly disclose their master and apprentice identities. In the blink of an eye, the people who had crossed the robbery and protected the law had disappeared. From the beginning to the end, except for those who were stronger than Immortal Emperor Yuheng, no one could see the face of the person who had crossed the robbery. As soon as the people here disappeared, many figures immediately appeared behind, wanting to come to investigate further, but the result was destined to disappoint them. After the calamity, Guyao returned to the rented cave, and started a new round of retreat, consolidating the cultivation base he had just broken through, and keeping an eye on his Qi Changjai and Su Chen and Su Chuan, and only then did he have the time to pay attention to the situation outside. And found that the situation in Void City has stabilized. Su Chen looked at a suspended palace in the distant sky. It is said that Xia Yuan Xia alchemist is currently living there. The emperor-level alchemist makes Su Chen yearn for it. When can I see alchemist Xia? Su Chuan said strangely, didn't alchemist Chen worship alchemist Mei very much before? Su Chen glared at Su Chuan, of course I worship it, but I can't even worship it. One is the master he recognized, the other is an emperor-level alchemist, and he can't catch up with him right now, but after all, a Xian level, an emperor level, of course, this does not mean Meidan. The teacher will always stay at the Xian level, and it may break through at any time. I heard that the cultivation talent of Meidan is quite outstanding. This Su Chuan admitted, yes, I heard that although Dan Master Mei was a loose cultivator, it only took tens of thousands of years to be promoted to the immortal monarch. Su Chen looked at Qi Changjai on the side, thinking that it took tens of thousands of years to think it was amazing. He felt that the two guys, Qi Changjai and Guyao, would definitely not take so long. After they were promoted, I don't know how many people in this immortal world would drop their jaws. Su Chuan asked curiously again, Chen Danqi, will you and Gu Danqi join the Dantang in Xian Wuotang? I heard that after joining, there will be a chance to listen to Danqi Mei personally teach Danju. How long does it take to have Dan? The teacher said that he has benefited a lot, and he has made a lot of breakthroughs in alchemy. Su Chen touched his chin and said in a very flat tone, what's so good about confining alchemy in the alchemy hall all day long? I just want to go to the battlefield to hunt the void beast. Even if I am busy hunting the void beast all day, this alchemy the technique will never be worse than those guys in Dantang. Su Chuan was speechless. Although he knew that Su Chen's words had some truth, his and Guyao's alchemy skills were the best he had ever seen, and they were also the most powerful alchemists. But, can you be humble? He reminded in a low voice, Alchemy Chen, it's good to say this in front of our own people. Don't mention it after you go out, or you will be beaten up. Su Chen rolled his eyes and owed a word. Some people couldn't hear the truth. Qi Changjai sneered, when he didn't know Su Chen's true face. That's why Su Chuan will be fooled by him. The real purpose of going to the battlefield is to make the Gukha team famous as soon as possible, so as to attract the person he is thinking about. He dares to say that if Master Su is here, this guy will too lazy to set foot on the void beast battlefield, killing all day long. When Gu Yao was in retreat, the three of them didn't always chat. Occasionally Su Chuan went out to inquire about news. Su Chen was busy absorbing the knowledge of Danchu and alchemy. Qi Changjai was either practicing swords or replenishing the Yang Huolei that was consumed before. Or draw fairy talismans. They are definitely going to return to the void beast battlefield. When there is a large-scale void beast herd, these things are the best weapons for group killing. One day, after Su Chuan went out to inquire about the news and bought a batch of materials, he said mysteriously, "Everywhere outside is saying who is the disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, and many monks take the initiative to stand up and say that they are them. The person you were looking for was immediately exposed. You say, who is the disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng?" Being able to become a disciple of the Immortal Emperor, Su Chuan yearns for it. This kind of treatment is simply skyrocketing. Of course, he can only think about it. This blessing cannot fall on him. He has this kind of treatment. A self-knowledge. A disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng? Immortal Emperor Yu Heng accepted a disciple, Su Chen asked curiously. Just as Su Chuan was about to explain, he suddenly patted his mouth and lowered his voice even lower. The reason why those people outside say that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng accepted his disciples is because Immortal Emperor Yu Heng personally helped to cross the heavenly immortal tribulation not long ago. The cultivator protects the law, it seems. Danji Gu also crossed the calamity at that time, and also crossed the heavenly tribulation. I remembered that at that time, fellow deist Ye also gave a salute to the void. Who did he do it to? Gift. Could that be? Speaking of the latter, he felt that he was becoming more and more truthful, his voice involuntarily raised, his eyes widened. God. Qi Changjai just came out of the room, glanced at Su Chuan, and said sternly, "No, will Immortal Emperor Yu Heng accept an alchemist as his disciple?" After he finished speaking, he turned around and left, and Su Chen said, "Yes, yes, how is this possible, not to mention my junior brother, this guy is also a sword cultivator, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is not a sword cultivator, so keep the sword well. What are you doing as a disciple?" Only then did Su Chuan realize, yes, it makes sense, and then regretfully said, "Unfortunately, I thought I would have a chance to see Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, but everyone was saying that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is back here. I won't leave in a short time. I have to enter the Void Beast battlefield and sit on one side to prevent the Void Beast from causing chaos." When Gu Yao crossed the robbery, only the two heavenly immortals, Qi Changjai and Su Chuan, went to protect the Dharma. Su Chen stayed in the cave, and he didn't expect this to disturb Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. Gu Yao was also rumored to be a jade. The disciple of Emperor Hung, people don't know what to say, so Su Chuan will believe Qi Changjai's nonsense. Gu Yao's cultivation base is very solid, and his immortal energy is also very solid. It didn't take long to consolidate his cultivation base in the early days of Immortals. There is still work to do. He sensed it as soon as he woke up late in the night. After entering the room, he saw Gu Yao taking out the storage ring that was sent to him by Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. "Brother Ye, what do you think is in it? Master gave me a glass bottle last time, which helped me a lot. What will it be this time?" Qi Changjai walked over to him and sat down. "Just take a look and you'll know." There was a seal on it, which could be undone by Gu Yao's consciousness without any effort. He was stunned when he saw something floating in the space, and then he pulled Qi Changjai into the pill pavilion space together, and turned his hand to take out an object. Qi Changjai shrunk the hole. "Is it the second half of the book of pills?" "Yes, it is the second half of the volume. I didn't expect it to be with the master, and the master also gave me the second half of the volume, so the master has long known that the first half is with me," Gu Yao excitedly said. "Come on, I'll take a look at the first half of the book." "Present." Gu Yao said hello to Ji Xiao, and went to the space where the pill books were placed. As soon as others entered, the second half of the pill books they brought in flew out by themselves, and at the same time, the first half also released light. The two light groups approached quickly, and the burst of light made them unable to look directly. After a while, the dazzling light disappeared, and a complete scroll of pills fell into Guyao's hands. The paper was extremely soft, and the content recorded on each page became more abundant. Just as Guyao was about to read it, the elixir began to change again. It slammed into Guyao's body, flew into his danshan, and finally appeared in Xian Ying's hand, swallowing Xian Yu and force together with Xian Ying. How? Qi Changjai guessed that it was a good thing, but still a little worried. Guyao described the situation in his danshan again and said, I feel that the elixir itself is also a magic weapon. As long as I am willing, the contents of the elixir will automatically flow into my sea of consciousness, and the speed of absorption and digestion is much faster than before. I don't know if the danshu has other functions, maybe it will continue to be cultivated for a while. Qi Changjai was relieved after this. Needless to say, it must be an excellent treasure. It is suitable for an alchemist like Guyao. When I see Master Mei in the future, I have to thank Master Mei well. Let's go, let's continue to the Void Beast battlefield. Guyao felt infinitely energetic, and pulled Qi Changjai out of the space to walk out. He has been in retreat, and has limited knowledge of the outside situation. Only at the end of the successful tribulation, he learned that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng and his master came to Void City together, but he didn't know much about other things. On the way to Xian Wutang, I heard Su Chen and Su Chuan popularized, and he was so shocked that he was almost speechless. So the Juding Temple has become honest now. Su Chen disdainfully said, on the surface, it's true, but I don't believe that they won't make small moves in private, especially now that there are some disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, they might hit their minds on this disciple. Su Chuan also said, recently, there are many monks looking for the disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng in Void City, and there must be a lot of them on the battlefield. I don't think those who are looking for are necessarily well-intentioned. Immortal Emperor Yu Heng was too popular at first. There are also many people who don't like him, if he can be serious. Frustrating his disciples, those people will definitely not miss this opportunity. Qi Changjai said coldly, this matter has nothing to do with us, we just take care of ourselves. Coming to the teleportation array, Guyao asked, which city do you choose to go to this time? It's still Zhongshan City. I heard from Captain Shi and the others that Cultivator Kong is still in Zhongshan City. Okay. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 652. Middle Three Cities. The Behemoth Squad has its own station here. The group had just finished eating and drinking, and a cultivator employed by the Behemoth Squad ran over to look for Sun Jinmin. Brother Sun, that cultivator appeared again, and that cultivator didn't die on the battlefield. Come on, I just came to Zhongshan City through the teleportation array. Who? Sun Jinmin digs his ears, who is this talking about? Who can't die? The person who came here was just a few cultivators who offended Sun Jinmin 3 years ago. After a long time, Sun Jinmin remembered these people, grabbed the person by the collar, and asked fiercely, what do you mean? They didn't die? Did they come to Zhongshan City again? They actually returned to Void City some time ago. He was shocked when he saw the people coming and went, and he rushed over to report. Sun Jinmin shook the future people away, his face was gloomy and uncertain, and the team members next to him also heard what was going on, and didn't care. Fortunately they are lucky, they didn't die on the battlefield, but we rely on our giant beast team to kill them. Is it still difficult for a cultivator? Why is it necessary for Daio-sun to be so embarrassed? Sun Jinmin clenched his fists and cracked, yes, since you survived, you should run and hide somewhere else, but it was sent to my eyelids without a long eye, which shows that this good luck has come to an end. Go, I'll keep an eye on them to see when they're out of town, and report them immediately. Okay, brother Sun, the little one will definitely keep a close eye on the people. This matter is covered by the little one. Guyao and his party did not know that they were being targeted again. This time they set foot on the land of Zhongsanchinj again. They were a little emotional. The time they stayed here was very short, but this time they were not in a hurry to go out of the city to hunt the void beast. It is to visit Monk Kong first. When Guyao was in retreat, Su Chuan always had contact with Zhenli's squad. After the Zhenli squad rested, they went to the battlefield with Gu Chi's squad. Unfortunately, Guyao was in retreat at the time, so they had to go first. I bought a lot of medicinal pills from Su Chen before, and Su Chuan also learned about the location of Monk Kong from the Zhenli team. The team led by Friar Kong is not small, and there are special people guarding the door. When they see them coming, they ask them who they are looking for. We are looking for Cultivator Kong. We fought together 3 years ago. My surname is Gu, his surname is Ye. Cultivator Kong should still remember. After Guyao said this, the cultivator immediately knew the identity of this pedestrian. After all, the team went to a lot of people at that time. After returning, they often mentioned the situation at that time, saying that if there was no Gukha team at that time, they might fall into what happened. I just regret that I don't know where the Gukha team fell. When news came from Shangjukan later, including Captain Kong, they were happy for the Gukha team. So the cultivator who guarded the gate sent a message to the captain while inviting them in, and after a while, Cultivator Kong came out to receive them in person, along with a few team members who had fought together at the beginning. It's really you. I met Team Stone before, and I learned that you were retreating in Void City, otherwise I would have wanted to see you a long time ago, Brother Kong said with emotion when he saw the group of 4, and then his eyes lit up again. Gu Dan the teacher broke through and advanced. Yeah, after coming out of the battlefield, he went into seclusion and broke through by luck, Gu Yao said modestly. Although the people who accompanied Captain Kong were all heavenly immortals, their teeth hurt when they heard Gu Yao's words, when they didn't know how difficult it was to be promoted to heavenly immortal. How long did it take Gu Yao to go from seclusion to breaking through calamity, and to consolidate his cultivation base? Captain Kong laughed, and invited them to talk in detail. Gu Yao and the others came here. In addition to their friendship, they also wanted to inquire about the situation on the battlefield from Captain Kong. What was the reason for the Void Beast to frequently attack and ambush the cultivators, and also attack their settlements for 3 years? Come down, this matter should be found out. Some things are more clearly known on the battlefield, and Su Chuan can only inquire about some peripheral news in Void City. Cultivator Kong did not hide it. 3 years ago, in addition to our temporary settlement, which was destroyed, several settlements were suddenly attacked by the Void Beast at about the same time. At that time, we were aware of it and took precautions. Coupled with your methods, fellow deist, the number of monks damaged in it is relatively small, and some monks could not escape. Many monks in an entire settlement, and the monks who went to investigate found that the place was a mess and it was terrible. Not only our immortal cultivator, but also the demon cultivator and the demon cultivator were equally damaged. So after that, the 3 major martial arts halls joined forces and sent people to go deep into the battlefield to find out the reason. The 4 fellow deists came to the Void Beast battlefield for the first time, and they had limited understanding of the situation on the battlefield. In fact, on the battlefield, every once in a while, a big conflict would break out, that is, a large-scale Void Beast riot. It is fixed. There will be a larger Void Beast riot every 10,000 years, and a smaller-scale Void Beast riot every 1,000 years. It's only a few hundred years since the last Void Beast large-scale riot. There should be no exceptions in any way. Hearing that Gu Yao and Qi Changjai and Su Chen looked at each other, the last large-scale riot should have caused some of the Void Beasts to break through the space barrier and run to their spiritual world. The time was just right. The situation that time was really serious, otherwise it would not have attracted Immortal Emperor due to personally open up a space channel and send people to the lower realm. Although the exact reason has not been found out, because the Emperor-level powerhouses often go to and from the hinterland of the battlefield and sit in various cities during this time, the movement of the Void Beast sneak attack has been much smaller, and it has been more than a year. It happened that temporary settlements were raided. Chi Chang'ai raised his eyebrows. I haven't found out the reason yet. Cultivator Kong shook his head. It hasn't been announced to the outside world. Maybe the higher UPS knows something, but don't think it's necessary to explain it to us. Now that there are Emperor-level powerhouses in charge, as long as they don't run too far, there shouldn't be a big problem. Su Chuan also said, that's right, as soon as the Emperor-level powerhouse makes a move, hundreds of void beasts are useless, they can be solved with a wave of his hand. He also obtained a distribution map of the current temporary settlements outside the city from Cultivator Kong, and the four of Guyao and his party left. On the other side, the four monks staring at Guyao, did not expect that they would go to the side of the team led by Monk Kong. This team is quite famous in Zhongsanchinj, and its strength is definitely not weaker than the giant beast team. Above them, so he hurried to report to Sun Jinmin. Unfortunately, how did they get together with the surnamed Kong? Could it be because the surnamed Kong's strength is good, they cling to it? Brother Sun, they left. My people saw that they were going out of the city. They should be out of the city. Sun Jinmin stood up and slapped, okay. Finally, when they are out of the city, let's see who can save them this time. Let's go, get some people out to hunt the void beast together. Sun Jinmin summoned some members of the giant beast team to also go out of the city entrance. On the way, he was still confirming whether the four people really left the city, and in which direction they flew out of the city. Exit the city. The four of Guyao had long noticed that there were looming eyes behind them, and it started as soon as they entered Zhongshan city. At first, the four of them couldn't figure out who would be staring at them. After all, Zhongsanchinj was only 3 cities. It stayed for a while a few years ago, and I really can't talk about offending people. However, Su Chuan remembered something they had long since left behind. Do you think he is a member of the giant beast team? Deist Lu Peng reminded us of the giant beast team and that Sun Jinmin, who are very narrow-minded, 3 years old. I didn't find an opportunity to start before, but this time I saw us coming again, so I focused on it again. Su Chen rolled his eyes boringly. How did this cultivator become a god? With such a small eye, it's not worth being smashed to death by the robbery. Su Chuan said, actually, I heard that the monks in the immortal demon realm used a variety of methods to overcome the calamity. Maybe they used some special method. Su Chuan himself had a deep understanding of it, and felt that it was Sun Jinmin's temperament. I'm really lucky not to be killed by the robbery. This temperament is not restrained at all. Chi Chang'ai's eyes flashed. He walked out of the city gate, picked a position at will, and ordered, let's go. Just keep up with love. As for whether it is alive or dead, they cannot guarantee it. They just flew out not far, and sure enough, Sun Jinmin and his party also left the city, and then they also flew in the direction where Guyao and his party left. Although Chi Chang'ai and Guyao don't pay attention to the people who follow, but who would like to keep chasing behind the butt? So after leaving the city gate, speed up the speed of the flying boat, trying to get rid of the people behind. Su Chuan kept paying attention to the movement behind him, and said angrily, we accelerated, and their flying boat actually accelerated. I didn't expect it to be so shameless. Then teach them a lesson, Chi Chang'ai said lightly, and Guyao glanced at each other and reached an agreement. Su Chuan was puzzled and asked Su Chen in a low voice, Captain, what do they want to do? Su Chen didn't want to admit that the two had a tacit understanding, and rolled his eyes and said, anyway, there is a way to make the people behind you suffer. Next, Su Chuan knew what Chi Chang'ai and the others wanted to do. because he saw the black cat come out. I don't know what Guyao told it. After getting out of the flying boat, he disappeared, and their flying boat kept accelerating. Moving forward, the same goes for the flying boat behind. I don't know how long it took, suddenly there was a violent blasting sound from behind. Su Chuan, who had been paying attention to the movement behind him, found that where the blasting occurred, there were space cracks and small space storms, and the flying boat behind it was so coincidental. It just happened to slam into it, making him laugh. It's really good. Haha. Sun Jinmin was so angry that he brought more than a dozen people out, but not far from the city, he damaged 3 people and went in, and he didn't know who set up an ambush against them. Could it be the guys in front? No way, they are all gone. Brother Sun, what should we do? Do we want to continue chasing? After such a delay, the flying boat in front could no longer catch up. Sun Jinmin gritted his teeth and said, Go to the nearest settlement and wait there. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 653. Seeing the black cat and cub flying back from the outside, shaking his head triumphantly, Su Chuan still didn't know how the flying boat behind him suffered. Qi Changjai and Guyao are the most sensitive to spatial fluctuations, so they can also sense nodes with weak space, so they chose a node when the flying boat was flying, and told the location to the cub, and the cub left the flying boat. Waiting on the road, waiting for the flying boats behind to throw themselves into the net, and when they came in, the Yang Huolei exploded, so the unfortunate scene happened behind. Seeing Qi Changjai calculating others seriously, Su Chuan couldn't help twitching the corners of his mouth while gloating at the group behind him, because Qi Changjai and the image of Jiangziu he knew were sometimes too different, but he couldn't deny that Qi Changye himself is a very powerful sword cultivator. When the indomitable Jiangziu knows how to act in a roundabout way and knows how to design conspiracies and traps to calculate others, this Jiangziu is probably even more terrifying. Su Chen didn't think it was strange, and laughed fiercely in the flying boat. After getting rid of the followers, they began to keep a low profile again. Too high profile is easy to be targeted by large-scale void beasts. They are here to kill beasts in a low-key manner. When encountering the void beast, Guyao and Su Chen rushed to the front. One had to adapt to the newly increased power, and the other was desperately trying to make progress because of the lowest cultivation level. Now he is still in the stage of Earth Immortal, so others can see it. Too embarrassing. Those who surpass the strength of the two would be picked up by Qi Changjai and Su Chuan. Of course, Su Chuan took over from Su Chen. He now found out that after being promoted to Heavenly Immortal, Guyao's strength increased even more. With 2 small assistances, the lethality on the battlefield is more than several times his. That is to say, in the time when Su Chuan was hunting a void beast, Guyao had already been able to deal with 3 or 4 of them, so it would be a good thing if Guyao didn't come to support him. Where would it be his turn to support Guyao? It is not like a powerful sword cultivator like a sword cultivator, nor a powerful alchemist like an alchemist. At night, they would find hidden places to camp. In the storage ring that Mei Sun gave to Guyao, in addition to the second half of the elixir, there were other items, such as immortal formations, such as a large number of heaven-level immortal grasses and immortal formations. Although there are only a few sets, each set is more effective than the immortal formation set up by Guyao and the others. At first glance, it can be seen that the formation masters made it according to the situation on the battlefield, and perfectly converged their breath in the immortal formation. Inside, they had seen several void beasts wandering outside the immortal array, but turned a blind eye to the immortal array and the people in the immortal array. This immortal formation must be of a high level, and relying on this immortal formation is safer than going to a temporary settlement. After observing several times, Su Chuan came to this conclusion. Where are we now? Su Chen knew the origin of the fairy formation, but Su Chuan didn't know, so he didn't explain it. Fortunately, Su Chuan was not the one who wanted to ask the end of the casserole. Su Chen nibbled the fairy fruit and turned out the map to check. Su Chuan leaned over and gestured and said, "This is the closest temporary settlement to us. We just passed by the neighborhood yesterday. If you keep going along this route, you may encounter many demons and demons. There are the most cities in the city, and the next one is Zhongai City. The strongest monks and teams in the middle-level city gather in Zhongai City, so it is the coexistence of immortals and demons. I heard that the situation inside is very complicated, and the competition is fierce." Guyao listened and glanced over and said, "Then let's go down this route, and see the strongest monk and the strongest team. By the way, we just came to see that day. The blast team from here must be in Tianyi City." It should be Su Chuan was not surprised by Guyao's decision, that is, he also wanted to be a hero in the world, not to mention that their four-person team was really not weak at all. After adjusting the breath for a night, the four of them set off again. As for the temporary settlement in front of them, they didn't want to go in and stay at all, and they didn't even think that someone was still there waiting to clean them up. Yao and Chi Changjai didn't take that giant beast squad in their eyes. Compared with the huge battlefield and the endless void beasts, the so-called giant beast squad was nothing but a speck of dust. The result was that Sun Jinmin waited for more than 10 days in the settlement with his people, but Guyao and his party of 4 did not appear. Sun Jinmin was furious, and the people around him wiped sweat. Who would have thought that such an unreasonable incident would happen? Monks with cards. Originally, the 4-person team was an extremely fragile existence in the Void Beast battlefield. It was difficult to kill outside. How could there be a reason to pass through the door and not enter when encountering a settlement? Maybe these people are finished when they meet the Void Herd, so we won't be able to wait for anyone here. Damn, last time I said it was over, but what happened? I ended up going to the 9 cities. Sun Jinmin's anger went up the back of his head, but now it has made him compare himself with these people. Come on, if you don't kill them, you won't be able to take the breath out of your heart. A sharp-mouthed monkey subordinate rolled his eyes several times, and came up with a bad idea. Brother Sun, it's inconvenient for us to find people alone, but what if we start other teams to find people together? How to activate it? Throw a large amount of immortal stones out. Sun Jinming is not stupid, and he doesn't want to waste immortal stones on these bastards. Brother Sun, have you forgotten the hot discussion in Void City recently? His subordinates approached and muttered. Hurry up and say it, don't make a fool of yourself. The subordinates scolded Sun Jinmin for a while, but there was still a smile on his face to offer advice. That's it, Brother Sun. Void City has been looking for Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples recently, and even I heard a gossip. It is said that Juding Temple is with Immortal Emperor Yu Heng has hatred, and Juding Hall is also there. Secretly looking for his disciples. If we say we have news of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples, Brother Sun, what do you think they will do? After all, Sun Jinmin was not stupid. He quickly turned the corner, and the others suddenly realized it. I have to say that this idea is really bad. But some people worried, if Immortal Emperor Yu Heng knows about this, can his old man spare us? Then don't let Immortal Emperor Yu Heng know that we spread it out. Sun Jinmin's interest really came up, his eyes lit up, and he patted the table. Okay. Let's do it like this. I see where they are going to hide in this battlefield. Against me, Sun Jinmin? Don't even think about it. But motherfucker. Yes, the kid who was favored by Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is too lucky. No one knows his true identity. It is said outside that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is very short protected, and he deliberately protects him from outsiders, but there are also those who know it, such as several Immortal Emperors in Void City who were stronger than Immortal Emperor Yu Heng at that time. Isn't this nonsense? Those immortal emperors won't tell us if they can see it or not. It didn't take long for a message to spread in the settlement, and everyone who heard it was surprised. Some people scoffed, looking at the 4 images in the jade slip and saying, "This is someone who has offended someone, and this person must be in our settlement, otherwise it might suddenly spread overnight, and there are so many forces in Void City that can't be found out, the people behind this just want to use us to deal with these 4 monks. Then are we going to look for it? You don't have to rush to find it. If you really want to let Immortal Emperor Yuheng know about this, without our good fruit to eat, do you really think Immortal Emperor Yuheng has a good temperament? How many years have you fought on this battlefield, just that the suffocation of the body can kill us? Not to mention the true identities of these 4 people, just because the people behind the scenes borrowed the identity of Immortal Emperor Yuheng's disciples, they offended Immortal Emperor Yuheng. What is Immortal Emperor Yuheng? Others can take advantage of it? Then these 4 cultivators are too unlucky. They won't get any benefit from such a scapegoat. Yeah, even if you don't have a holiday with Immortal Emperor Yuheng, you won't rush to please these 4 monks, because you can understand the truth behind it at a glance. But for those who have hatred with Immortal Emperor Yuheng, even if you know it has nothing to do with Immortal Emperor Yuheng, and it is estimated that he will also start, that is, it is better to kill by mistake than to let it go, and it can also add embarrassment to Immortal Emperor Yuheng, why they are not happy. Oh, they're really unlucky then. In a few days, the images of the 4 of Guyao radiated outward from the settlement, and were also transmitted back to Void City. The monk in Juding Hall held a jade slip and hurried to an elder. "Elder, I found it, the news from the Void Beast battlefield, where I found the disciple of Immortal Emperor Yuheng, the 4 in the image." One of the monks. "Show me." The elder grabbed the jade slip, and when he thought about it, the images of the 4 monks appeared in front of them, not just the 4 Guyao. "Which one is it?" The cultivator pointed to one of them and said, "Some time ago, this cultivator just broke through from the pinnacle of Earth Immortal to Heaven Immortal, so it is most likely him." This cultivator is not pointing at Guyao, and among the 4, Guyao has the most indifferent and gentle temperament, and the elder frowned. The news is accurate. How could that guy Yuheng accept such a cultivator as a disciple? His disciples must have the same temperament as him, they will be aggressive and very good at fighting. In his opinion, both Qi Changjai and Su Chuan are more in line with the status of Immortal Emperor Yuheng's disciple. This, but it's all said outside. The monk who came to report was uncertain. "Forget it, find someone to watch over these guys and see if they have anything suspicious." 1:10, 10:100, Guyao. 4 people on the Void Beast battlefield. They never thought that their Gucci team would become famous so quickly, but they became famous in a way they did not expect at all, and it soon spread to the side of the Demon Martial Hall. One of the Magic Martial Arts Hall. Really or not? What kind of luck did these 4 guys have for Immortal Emperor Yuheng to take a fancy to? By the way, what are their names? Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 654. What is the Gukka Squad? I've never heard of it. It's said that it hasn't been long since they arrived in Void City, but it's no wonder that 4 people dare to form a team to go to the Void Beast battlefield, because they have a backstage. Recently, Immortal Emperor Yuheng and personally sitting on the battlefield of the Void Beast. What kind of blind guy dares to move his apprentice under his nose? Not walking sideways on the battlefield. A black-clothed cultivator next to him suddenly raised his head. "Gucci team? Could it be the Gukka team?" he thought. "Brother, can you show me the jade slips in your hands?" Several demon cultivators were originally very unhappy to be disturbed, but when they looked up, they immediately became obedient, because the opponent's strength was higher than them, and they were also quite famous on the battlefield recently, so they quickly flattered, "Since the predecessors, if you like it, I will give this jade slip to the senior." The black-clothed cultivator waved his hand, and the cultivators hurried aside. The black-clothed cultivator looked into the jade slip with his divine sense, and his eyes moved slightly, and it really was them. They also came to Void City, but how did they become the disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng? The black-clothed cultivator couldn't understand this, because the way Gu Yao and the three of them practiced did not match that of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. No, everyone must have made a mistake. He had heard that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng had a very good relationship with alchemist Meixun. Yu Hao alchemist Meixun came to Void City with Immortal Emperor Yu Heng this time, so that Immortal Emperor Ri Yu Heng would act to protect a monk, not because the monk was his disciple, but for Meisun's sake. He protected Meisun's disciple once. But outsiders don't know. The black-clothed cultivator became anxious, knowing the truth. He could see at a glance that Gu Yao and several others had been plotted by others. This plot could be described as very crude, but this kind of rudeness would make Gu Yao go. Several people got into great trouble. The black-clothed cultivator turned around and called those people in front of them, and asked them where the 4 cultivators of the Guka team were now, and one of them quickly replied, "I heard that I entered the Void Beast battlefield, and I haven't returned to Void City until now." Someone else said. The last words got stuck in his throat under the cold eyes of the black-clothed cultivator, and he couldn't say it. He had a feeling that if he said the latter words, his life would be in danger. Seeing the black-clothed cultivator turn around and stride going out, his legs were weak and he almost fell to the ground. Before the teleportation array, the staff asked, "Which city are we going to?" "Middle Second City." Okay. With a flash of light, the black monk in the formation disappeared. Books. The 4 of Gu Yao didn't know how many people were looking for them inside and outside the battlefield. The 4 of them never entered the settlement they passed by, and they always hunted void beasts outside. When there were too many void beasts, they would try their best to avoid them. Yang Huolei and Xian Leifu opened the way, and sometimes they were chased away from the route they traveled by the void beast, and they had to take time to go back. After such a toss, a few months have passed, but for them, the results are gratifying. The fastest progress is Su Chen, who is enjoying the pills and fighting the void beast with all his strength, plus the Vulcan the body forging method tempers the flesh, and the cultivation level is really rising rapidly. Maybe when he returns to Void City, Su Chen will retreat to prepare for a breakthrough. Su Chuan is envious. Although he is already an immortal, he can see Su Chen's trust in Qi Changjai and Gu Yao, so every time he rushes up to fight with the Void Beast, he doesn't have to worry that he will be killed by the Void Beast, because Qi Changjai and Gu Yao will immediately take action to relieve such a crisis. It is precisely because of this situation that Su Chen can improve his strength without hesitation. Not to mention Su Chen, the other 3 also made considerable progress, and also harvested a large number of void beast corpses and other items obtained on the battlefield. At the same time, the points in their tokens are also rising rapidly. Not far from the second city, the 4 decided to take a rest in the wild before preparing to enter the city. Su Chuan was a little worried, because according to the information he had heard, Zhong-Er City was basically the site of demon cultivators and demon cultivators. Immortal cultivators would probably be rejected if they entered, so it would be better to go directly to Zhongyi City, but the 3 of Gu Yao insisted. To go in, Su Chuan knew that it might be related to a magic cultivator they were looking for. It's just so hard to find someone. Su Chen was adjusting his breath. Gu Yao nibbled on the fairy fruit, and asked Qi Changjai, "You said that when we enter the city tomorrow, how likely is it that we will find the whereabouts of Master Su?" Qi Changjai poured immortal wine and drank. "The little guy outside has never been able to inquire. There are only 2 possibilities. One is that the master did not come to Void City at all, and the other is..." Gu Yao immediately replied, "Could it be that the master will change his image? It's really hard to find." Su Chuan thought it was strange. Gu Yao and the 3 of them didn't say these words behind his back, so I heard a lot about Master Su, and also knew that Master Su and Su Chen had a poor relationship, Master Li Su is a Buddha. Shiu. Why did you take the path of the devil's way? Guyao threw away the fruit core, clapped his hands and said, it's hard to say a word, but whether it's a Buddhist or a magician, it's the master's choice based on his heart, so there's no difference. Su Chuan nodded, this is very reasonable. Middle City. The monks in black walked on the street and found that there are more monks who are interested in the so-called new disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. It is not enough to have enmity with Immortal Emperor Yu Heng to kill his disciples, and more of them are not convinced. Why is Immortal Emperor Yu Heng suppressing demons and cultivating demons and becoming famous on the battlefield? Why would that kid be favored by Immortal Emperor Yu Heng and accepted as a disciple? Yu Heng has become an immortal emperor, and they are destined to be defeated, but they can find the disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng to practice their skills. If they can defeat Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples, they will definitely be famous in the Void Beast battlefield, and maybe they will be famous. Yang Xian, Demon, and Demon, the three realms, would be very happy. You said where the four boys are hiding, they won't be torn apart by the Void Beast before we find them. Oh, then Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is too unworthy of the name, right? To be such a useless as a disciple. Many monks joked in the restaurant. It is not enough to say how malicious it is. Speaking of the performance of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng on the battlefield, the monks of the demon world and the demon world are also very admired, especially he has the courage to directly advance to the tribulation on the battlefield. Brought over the void beasts, if other immortal emperors learned of the situation and came to protect the law for him, they would have been swallowed by a large number of void beasts. Do you really believe that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples are among those four? Cut. Who cares if this is true or not, just relying on the name of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples is enough. We are only going to defeat Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples, understand? Haha, I'll go first when I find it. No, you are not allowed to rob me. Bah. I just want to grab it, why should I give you such a great opportunity? If you want me to say, it's better to send a weaker person in the past. If you defeat that guy, wouldn't it make me more famous in the world of demons and demons? You are all full of bad water. We are not involved in this matter. Our Fox clan is not involved either. Hey, what's going on with your demon palace and the Fox clan? It's not that you are afraid of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, right? He can't bully others even if he is an immortal emperor. We also have demon emperors and demon emperors in the demon world and demon world. He can't fight directly. Came at the door. The two people who spoke gave a helpless look, and finally said, anyway, we have reasons why we can't directly participate, but we will stand by and help you out. Come on. The black-clothed monk touched his chin when he heard it under the restaurant, Extreme Demon Palace. Demon World Fox Clan? Is it because of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng or because of Guyao and the three themselves? Big news, a cultivator flew over the city, and his voice spread far and wide. The disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng appeared in our middle and second city, right at the gate of the city, come and watch. Really or not, with a hula, countless monks flew in from all over the place, and the dense ones showed how influential the name of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng was. Of course it's true, it's exactly the same as the four in the video. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go, lest you be caught by other bastards. The group of monks who were eating, drinking and teasing in the restaurant disappeared in a flash, turning into a black dot and escaping towards the city gate, but in the blink of an eye, there was a red dot rushing faster than them. Go and quickly pass them. Black Spot Monk stared, who is that guy in front? Faster than us. I seem to have heard of this guy. Isn't there a famous magician named Red Flame Magic Saber recently? Haven't you heard of it at the Magic Martial Arts Hall? It's him. I heard that I have heard of it. I heard that this person killed the Void Beast battlefield single-handedly. He broke through several times without risk, but where did this guy come from? I've never heard of such a character in the demon world. Perhaps he deliberately concealed his identity for some special reason. I didn't expect this guy to be interested in Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples. Haha, if I want to say, let him measure the situation in the immortal realm. Exactly, rightly, let this guy charge for us. At the entrance of Zhong-Er city, the four of Guyao were completely dumbfounded, and they didn't expect to encounter such a battle. As soon as they arrived at the gate of the city, they were surrounded by monks inside and out, shouting at them, and there were a steady stream of monks coming behind them. This battle made the four of them want to turn away from the city, but they heard them clearly. When he shouted something, he stopped again. Su Chen's reaction was the most direct. He digged his ears. What? Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciple? Did I make a mistake? When did Immortal Emperor Yu Heng accept one of the four of us as a disciple? Su Chuan's legs were a little weak. It won't spread all over the world, right? Then no matter where we go in the future, we will be hit by such a group of people. Chase. Someone heard Su Chen's words and quickly asked, aren't you guys? Su Chen spread his hands. Even we don't know when Immortal Emperor Yu Heng accepted one of us as a disciple, so I want to ask you, it's actually good to be a disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, but that's the old man of Immortal Emperor, we're hugging our thighs. Big guy, don't be deceived by them, the news came from their Immortal cultivator side, is this still fake? What is it? Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is such a hero, could it be that the disciple he accepted is a soft-footed shrimp? Someone shouted from behind. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 655. Qi Changjai took a step forward, guarded Guyao behind him, looked at the people who were shouting at them coldly, and asked, I just asked if the four of us can still enter the second city? Did we come to the second city, all monks must accept your challenge before they can enter. Bah! I was almost surrounded by your guy, a monk almost blurted out of course, and suddenly realized that it was wrong and quickly stopped, everyone can enter, it's not that you can't enter, but whoever lets outside it is said that the disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng are among the four of you. Ask the monks in the middle and second cities, who does not know that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is famous and made great contributions on the battlefield of the Void Beast. Now he jumps out and says it is Jade. Immortal Emperor Heng's disciples also asked our brothers and sisters if they would accept it. Do you accept it? The following words were shouted at the large group of monks behind him, and they immediately won a shout and responded, and they all cried out. So we have to go all the way in. The lightning flashed in Qi Changjai's eyes, and the purple thunder sword was directly thrown out and caught in his hand. The other party confirmed his statement, and he really wanted to go all the way in. Oh, this kid is still a little bit real. Nonsense, dare four people to break into this battlefield and still live well, and they have no ability to do it? Watching them kill them all the way, they are still very refreshing. But there are also more monks eager to try, because they yearn for the title of defeating the disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. A very strong man with an axe on his back was about to come out to fight, and a figure swept out from behind, I come. The sturdy man was about to scold, but when he looked back, the tall figure immediately shrank, and he returned to the team honestly. It turned out to be Ji Xianming from the Broken Soul Palace. Ji Xianming gave this cultivator too much face. Even Immortal Emperor Yu Heng wouldn't go against the Broken Soul Palace. Ji Xianming usually only makes a move in one situation, that is, he thinks that cultivator is worth fighting for him. Is this cultivator really amazing? The monks around were talking a lot, and Qi Changjai's eyes became more serious when he saw Ji Xianming, because the aura of this person was not weak, and he had a strange feeling. Hearing the Broken Soul Palace, he guessed this person's practice should be somewhat special. Brother, yeah, you have to be careful. Be careful, too. In this mixed place, there will inevitably be people who are in the thick of the test, and Chi Changjai is worried that someone will take advantage of the opportunity to cause trouble. After Chi Changjai finished speaking, the fighting spirit on his body ignited, and he continued to rise. Ji Xianming shouted hello and flew out first. It is impossible to fight at the gate of the city. If there is a problem with the gate, they couldn't afford to pay for it, so Chi Changjai followed, and a piece of black pressure came out from behind, and the monks who got news from the city were still coming. The figures of Ji Xianming and Chi Changjai didn't stay in the air for a while, and they quickly exchanged hands. Ji Xuanming's figure flickered very strangely, making people unpredictable, and it was extremely fast. Fortunately, Chi Changjai was also they are good at speed, so in the blink of an eye, the two have fought for dozens of rounds. On the one hand, the lightning flashes and the sword Chi is sharp, and on the other hand is a pair of curved blade-shaped magic weapons. Every time the magic weapon is drawn in the air, it makes a whimpering sound. The sound can shake the spiritual soul of the monk. Going back, just plugging his ears is useless at all, and the monks who fight with him will be hit by a frontal impact, and Ji Xianming will seize the opportunity and be defeated by his men if he stagnates a little. Ji Xuanming's cultivation base is in the middle stage of the sky, and Chi Changjai is only at the early stage of the sky, but after this period of training, the immortal energy in his body is condensed and thick, and he wants to suppress Chi Changjai from the cultivation base. Guyao and Su Chen Sichuan was not worried. When Ji Xianming showed his hand, Guyao and Su Chen felt even more relieved. Even Su Chuan felt a little more at ease, because he also noticed that the cubs around Guyao had very special abilities. Sometimes the number of void beasts encountered is more than they can bear, the cub roars, and the movements of those void beasts will freeze in mid-air. Comparing the cub and this Ji Xianming, Su Chuan even had a feeling that the cub's ability in this aspect was still higher than Ji Xuanming's, so Chi Changjai, who would be yelled at by the cub from time to time, would be controlled by Ji Xianming. Special exercises? Su Chuan thought it might not be. Su Chen was also in the mood to think about other things at this time, and said in a low voice, "What's going on this time? Why do you think Immortal Emperor Yu Heng's disciples are among the four of us? It's spread everywhere, no other a few cities and the Void City are like this, right? It's too deliberate to be like this, except for having a grudge against us, who would make such a big fuss." Guyao's eyes flashed. "It's the giant beast team, it seems that we have underestimated how narrow-minded they are." Su Chuan echoed, "After thinking about it, it's only them. We rarely have friction and conflict with other teams." Su Chen added, "Actually, there are good things. We originally wanted to get the reputation of our Gukha team out. Now we don't have to do it. We are also famous for the Void City and Void Beast battleground." At the end of the sentence, Su Chen said, "The dust is still happy." Guyao supported his forehead, having said that, "But senior brother, have you ever thought about how much trouble we will have in the future? This is just to measure our strength, but I don't know how many people in this place want to take our lives." On the side of Donglan City, the appearance of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng was awe-inspiring, because the strongest in that place was only Immortal Monarch, and even only heavenly immortals could dominate one side, but this is the Void Beast battlefield, the most powerful. There is no shortage of bigwigs from all sides, as well as behemoths like Tuanhun Palace. Even if they face Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, they may not have much scruples, not to mention their little angels. Su Chen smacked his mouth, as if seeing the scene of being chased and killed by countless people, it was really bad, but after a while he looked around and had a hunch that this was the place where he and the little monk would reunite. Suddenly, he saw a red light rushing towards the side at a very fast speed. His heart beat faster, and he hurriedly grabbed Guyao. "Look, is the little monk here?" Guyao turned his head and took a look. The red light had been magnified in his line of sight, and he saw a red light wrapped around a black monk flying over. Although the red light was concealed, Guyao, who was very familiar with the different fires, couldn't help but widen his eyes, and exclaimed, "Really, Master Su? Su Chuan also looked over there. Are they going to add an extra team member? Red Flame Sword Demon. Why is he here too? Is he also interested in the disciples of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, and wants to compete? Red Flame Saber Demon? What's this called? Su Chen's ears were still listening to the conversations of others, and his eyes were never getting closer and closer to this person. Although his face was unfamiliar, he knew that it was him who had come. The little monk, the smile on his face is getting bigger and bigger, his mouth is almost grinning to the base of his ears. Is it easy for him? It's been so many years since we parted from the spiritual world. Seeing Guyao and Qi Changjai stick together all day long, he is almost jealous. Guyao couldn't help but complain about this name. The name of Master Liaxu is always so special, bloodthirsty demon monk, red flame sword demon, not to mention, it is quite loud enough to attract attention. He flew out of the city gate and flew over this area. The figure wrapped in red light slowed down and walked step by step in midair. With each step he walked, the appearance of the whole person changed little by little, like it was as if the dirt on the outside was washed away little by little, leaving only a bare head, a black monk's robe, and of course that coquettish appearance, which instantly attracted countless eyes, even Qi Changjai and Ji beside him. Xianming's fierce battle situation was ignored. Fuck, this is the true face of the red flame saber demon? This guy is too good looking, right? It's prettier than the witch in the city. Many. Fuck, I remembered, he is a monk who was favored by the black demon witch and wanted to be included in the harem. This feature is too obvious. He is a demon monk from a Buddhist cultivation background. I heard that after this guy escaped, the witch couldn't find anyone anywhere, and even went to arrest a few Buddhist monks, almost provoking the Buddhist sect to call the door, and the witch quickly and obediently released the monks who had caught, but she said, if this guy is willing, the witch will dismiss the harem for him. Puff. Su Chen, who was looking at each other affectionately with Su, listened to the gossip between Su and a witch, and couldn't help but burst into laughter. Li Su was very helpless, and slowly descended to the ground. Beside Su Chen, who had restrained his smile, clenched his fist and punched him several times. With a smile on his face, Li Su let him beat him without moving, and finally stretched out his hand to wrap Su Chen's fist. If it wasn't for being surrounded by so many people, Su Chen might just hang to the ground and cry. Just like this, it also made many monks see their teeth sour. Fuck, I finally understand why the witch offered such good conditions, and this guy didn't agree. It turns out that he is not good at the witch's mouth. If it is a devil, maybe he can think about it, haha. Embryo, Su Chen couldn't help scolding, the little monk is mine, no one can take it away, who would dare to rob Laozi and kill him? Haha. Most of them are good-natured smiles. Many demons have unruly temperaments. They prefer male or female sex, which is acceptable to them, especially this demon, who has broken through the differences between immortals and demons and came together. More admirable. Su Chen said happily, you heard the name of Guka's team here, right? I said, as long as you call this name, you will definitely know that it is us and will come to join us. But this time the being famous is not in our plan, although it helps us, but to let me know who did it, I have to kill him. Okay, I'll help you. As soon as I heard others talking about the Guka team, I knew that you must be here, so I hurried over. Chen, have any of you been accepted as disciples by Immortal Emperor Yu Heng? His eyes flashed, and he asked specifically. Bah. No, I don't know which framed it indiscriminately. No, it must be the giant beast team. They have all cultivated to heaven, and their hearts are smaller than the tip of a needle. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 656. Suddenly there was a harsh sound in the air, and many monks onlookers covered their ears or screamed in pain or frantically. After realizing what happened, the monks with a slightly higher cultivation hurriedly used their own energy to build a protective shield, that's all. After a while, the weak cultivator was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Seeing the sky above, 2 curved blades collided together, and the harsh sound was exactly what this collision made. A black air current swept away towards Chi-Chang-Jai, but in the blink of an eye, in the black air wave, a purple thunder dragon appeared. After rushing to the sky, he slammed into the sky again. With a roar, all the black air waves retreated, even Ji Xianming, who also took a few steps back in the air to stabilize his figure. The thunder dragon dissipated, and Chi-Chang-Jai walked out of the thunder light step by step, awe-inspiring and invincible. Ji Xianming took his magic weapon and clasped his fists with both hands. I didn't expect that there would be a heroic figure like your excellency in the fairyland. Whether you are a disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng or not, I have made this friend with Ji Xianming, and I will have a fate someday. Ji must come again to learn your great tricks. I'll wait. Chi-Chang-Jai also took his breath away, standing in mid-air and giving a salute. Ji Xianming smiled, then turned and flew into the city, and the figure quickly disappeared. He only came out to see him after hearing the name of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. He wanted to see who was qualified for Immortal Emperor Yu Heng to take a fancy to, but as soon as he saw this person, he had a sense of war. He lost a bit, but he had no regrets at all, because the sword cultivator was very strong, and he was not wronged at all. But at the same time, he can also be sure that this Jiangxiu is not a disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is not following the path of Jiangxiu. Very problematic. Of course Ji Xianming did not kindly help Chi-Chang-Jai to clarify this point. He didn't clarify, but Su Chen took the time to clarify it. Don't say, whether you believe it or not, you have listened to what he said. Was someone framed? Is it a rumor from a monster team? Then, when you go back, you have to dig out the details of this giant beast team to see if they spread it out. They are so courageous that they dare to use Immortal Emperor Yu Heng to eradicate the enemy. Although some people are still eager to try and fight Chi-Chang-Jai, the cultivators present saw the battle just now, and they recorded it in the photo stone. Before making a move, they had to check whether there was Ji Xianming's ability, otherwise it would be self-inflicted humiliation. For example, the strong man with an axe who originally wanted to challenge Chi-Chang-Jai, some cultivators wanted to find him, but they were nowhere to be seen. In fact, the 10 of them together are not the opponents of Ji Xianming alone. How can they dare to fight with this fellow deist? If you know that you are embarrassed, you must hurry up and hide. In addition to Chi-Chang-Jai's amazing combat power, another red flame sword demon appeared. No, I don't know what to call him now. This guy is no less powerful than Ji Xianming. Those who want to challenge Chi-Chang-Jai have to be cautious. This guy. Lei Su ignored other people's eyes, took Su Chen's hand and said to Guyao Chi-Chang-Jai, "Let's go, I'll take you into the city, and we'll talk after entering the city." "Okay, listen to your arrangement." Guyao smiled. No matter what idea they made, they watched these people go away, and then, the situation at the gate of the city spread to all directions at a very fast speed, including the story of the giant beast team that Su Chen said framed them. "Go out." Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, who had already entered the battlefield, suddenly opened his eyes, and saw an immortal emperor flying in immortal clothes, of course not the deity, but an incarnation, and the person smiled. "Yu Heng, I heard that you have a new disciple here? Now it's spread all over the world. Are we seniors going to prepare a gift for the little nephew?" "It's spread all over? What's the matter?" "I didn't accept disciples, so I didn't have time to train." Yu Heng frowned slightly. "Haha, you are still coaxing me. I even got the image, and I specially showed it to you, the visitor, through a jade slip, and the image in the jade slip quickly appeared in the air. Yu Heng's eyes flashed with surprise, but he quickly affirmed, "It's a few juniors, but there are no disciples of mine." "So the junior you started protecting the Dharma that day was one of these 4 people? But you didn't reveal it? Who was the guy who said it in a panic? If Yu Heng didn't want people to know, he would definitely cover it up. Only for the emperor-level masters higher than Yu Heng to know. The people who come here can't think of anyone who is so leisurely and spread this matter uproar." A look of displeasure flashed in Yu Heng's eyes, and he said, "I'll ask someone to find out what's going on." How could he not be clear that this matter would not be of much benefit to Gu Yao and his party, and he would even be attacked by the void beast? "Keep an eye on it. You should check, this matter is likely to be directed at you." "Thank you, Immortal Emperor Kanggu, for reminding me," Yu Heng said gratefully. It was Immortal Emperor Kanggu who took action to maintain it when he was on the battlefield that day, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng has always kept it in his heart. After Immortal Emperor Kanggu left, Yu Heng sent a message to Xian Wuotang and asked Xian Wuotang to investigate the matter. Xian Wuotang immediately acted. In fact, they were also puzzled when they heard the rumors at first. On the one hand, they felt that the speed of the rumors was spreading too fast. It was obvious that people with intentions were behind them. It is true that one of the 4 of them has survived the heavenly immortal tribulation. No matter how you look at it, Immortal Emperor Yu Heng has something to do with them, but now that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng personally denies that he is not a master-disciple relationship, then they have to find out the people with ulterior motives. "Elder, I found it." Xian Wuotang moved quickly, and there was related news from Yuhao Middle Second City, so I followed the clues to find out, and it didn't take much effort to find the Giant Beast team. It was done by the Giant Beast team, because the monks in the Giant Beast team did not like them, and it happened that the news that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng was suspected of accepting a disciple, so they did not go to verify at all, and sent people to the temporary settlement. Is there any other power behind this? And the Juding Hall's push to spread the news, and this is the current situation. By the way, the 4 monks in the rumors, that is, the Gukha team, went to the second city, and they are old acquaintances with the Red Flame Saber Demon in the second city, and now the Red Flame Saber Demon also joined the Gukha team. The name of this Red Flame Saber Demon came only after he came to the Void Beast battlefield. It turns out that he is not an unknown person in the demon world. The most important point is that it is said that this monk Moshiu is an ascended monk. The elder in charge of this matter stroked his beard and said, "It seems that this is right. The 4 monks in Gukha's team should also be from the Ascension monks, and they come from the same lower realm as the demon cultivator, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng and Mei Dan are the same. It's an ascended monk." The elder was about to speculate on the relationship between Immortal Emperor Yu Heng and them, when a voice transmission suddenly came over, and the elder's expression immediately became respectful. "What is the order of the elder Tais Hang?" After listening to the words of the elder Tais Hang, the elder's expression became strange, and then he suddenly realized that it was so it was. Everyone thought that only Immortal Emperor Yu Heng went to protect a heavenly immortal, but everyone missed one. There was another person who went there that day, and that was the alchemist Mei Sun. So this last relationship, it didn't fall on Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, but the immortal alchemist master Mei Sun. So, the 4 cultivators of Gukha's team are correct. Is the Giant Beast team a mistake? It's a pity that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng will be offended even more, and he thinks that he is doing it without knowing it. The cultivator who came to report the results of the investigation looked at the elder suspiciously. He did not hear what the elder Tais Hang had conveyed. Elder Qin calmed down, waved his hand and said, "Send someone into the battlefield and bring out the members of the Giant Beast team. In addition, try to spread the various actions of the Giant Beast team as much as possible." The Supreme Elder was naturally the Immortal Emperor, and the situation that day could not be concealed from the Immortal Emperor's consciousness. Elder Qin had no doubts about the content of the Supreme Elder's voice transmission, but he needed to confirm with alchemist Mei Sun that these 4 monks, is there any of his disciples inside? If it is an elixir master, why can't he enter the battlefield? Now Xian Wuotang is most in short supply of elixir masters. Mei Sun was also taken aback when he heard the intention of the elder Qin. Where are they now? Is there any danger? As soon as elder Qin saw his attitude, he knew that it was really related to alchemist Mai Xuan, and immortal Emperor Yu Heng only acted because of the face of alchemist Mai Xuan. Now they are in Zhong-Erchange, there is no danger at the moment. I checked their points, although the time to join the battlefield is still short, but the results are not bad. Although the total number of points is still low, it also depends on when they enter the battlefield, so this victory is more than good. That's good, Mei Sun said after thinking for a while. Since there are Xian Wuotang to help clarify the rumors, let them act on their own. With my current relationship with Judingdian, it is not appropriate to disclose their identities. I think my disciple doesn't want to stay in the pill room all day to make pills. In fact, his combat power is quite good. Elder Qin left, and he could see that Mei Sun valued his disciple very much, so he let him go out to practice. That's fine, but Dan Master Mei needs to remind them, although there will be Xian Wuotang who will come forward to clarify rumors, but the rumors will still work, and they will face many challenges in the future. Mei Sun nodded. He could ask Yu Heng to take care of him secretly. Elder Qin said his goodbyes and went out. A group of monks flew at a low altitude in the desolate battlefield, and suddenly hit a barrier. A sharp whistle sounded, and the team quickly entered a state of preparation. Seeing the monks gradually revealing their stature, the monks in this team scolded, "It's your behemoth team again, it?" The leader of the team was Sun Jinmin, who said arrogantly, "Keep your storage rings, or else don't blame me for chopping you up and feeding them to the void beast." "Who do you want to chop?" Sen Leng's voice came from above. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 657. The two monks below looked up, and suddenly had different reactions. The monks who were intercepted were overjoyed. Whether it was the flying boat or the clothes worn by the monks, they were all specially made. This special design all represented their identities, and they came from the law enforcement team of Xian Wuotang. The reaction of Sun Jinmin's side was completely different. Seeing the expressionless members of the law enforcement team, the others panicked and looked at Sun Jinmin involuntarily. Sun Jinmin's face changed, but then he put on a smile and said, "I'm joking with them, saying I'm going to chop up the void beast, don't you think?" Sun Jinmin looked at the other team, his back turned to the cultivator of the law enforcement team with a threat in his eyes. First, Sun Jinmin and the behemoth team he was in also had backgrounds, otherwise they would not have acted so arrogantly. Second, if the other party, if you don't cooperate, wait until Sun Jinmin finds a chance next time, and he will only make more ruthless shots. The cultivators of the other team were very angry, but they had heard of many bad deeds of the giant beast team. Unless they were really suppressed, there would be endless troubles, so they had the idea of cooperating with Sun Jinmin. But before they could say anything, the leader of the law enforcement team waved back, "Take them all away, and feel free to chop whoever you want." Yes. A dozen cultivators flew out of the flying boat, and each cultivator flew out a chain-shaped fairy weapon, attacking Sun Jinmin and the others, and clearly set up a formation in the sky, and the formation blinked. It is formed, and no one can escape. Sun Jinmin was horrified. He never thought that the law enforcement team would do it when they said they would do it. He would resist and escape without even thinking about it. However, the key target of the law enforcement team was him, so in an instant, there were chain-shaped fairy weapons in all directions. When he came, he heard a scream of "ah," and Sun Jinmin's limbs were tightly bound by chains, and he was also pulled to the flying boat. Sun Jinmin's limbs were locked, and Xian Yuanli couldn't mobilize at all. He was so angry that he cursed, "Do you know who I am? Let me tell you, how did you take me away, and how will you send me back until I am released?" I have to let people take you to the hinterland of the battlefield. However, his threats were of no use, and Sun Jinmin continued to scold, "Hurry up and let me go, or I will make you die ugly." Sun Jinmin was arrested. The law enforcement team has always had a good reputation on the battlefield and in the Void City. The special fairy weapons they used had a great restraint effect on the monks, so after a while, the monks brought by Sun Jinmin ended up with him. Were all and thrown onto the flying boat. The expression of the leader of the law enforcement team did not change from beginning to end. After all the people were caught, he clenched his fists at the other team below who looked dumbfounded. "Farewell. Farewell." The flying boat of the law enforcement team has already flown far away, and the monks of this team are still a little confused. Is it really caught like that? I heard that Sun Jinmin and his team of giant beasts do have some background, so they won't be caught and they will be released soon. This kind of should have been caught long ago. If the law enforcement team hadn't suddenly appeared today, we still don't know what would have happened. Hopefully this time they are locked up for as long as possible, and it's better to withdraw from the battlefield. Every action of the law enforcement team attracted attention. This time, they rushed into the battlefield and took away the people of the giant beast team. Many monks saw it, so this matter spread quickly. Some people say that this time the giant beast the team is completely planted. Who made them happen to be caught by the law enforcement team when they robbed other teams? Some people say that they will be released after a long time. At most, they will be punished symbolically, and it will be gone. In the restaurant near Xianwutang in Void City, someone sent a different message. "Hey, let it go. It's difficult, don't even look at who the guy named Sun offended this time. Do you really think that their giant beast team can be covered up for anything they do? Huh? Who exactly is offending? I've long heard that this man surnamed Sun and the captain of their giant beast team all have elders working in the Immortal Martial Hall. Otherwise, how dare they be so arrogant? No matter how powerful their elders are they more powerful than the Immortal Emperor?" Everyone gasped when they heard it, emotionally. Which Immortal Emperor is the one surnamed Sun offending this time? He is so courageous that even Immortal Emperor dares to do it. Guilty. The person who disclosed the news said triumphantly, "The person surnamed Sun offended not the Immortal Emperor next to him, but Immortal Emperor Yuheng, who made that boy dislike a few cultivators, and the other party couldn't slip his hands, and he would just enter the battlefield. I couldn't find it anymore, so the surnamed Sun sent people to spread rumors, saying that the disciples received by Immortal Emperor Yuheng were among those people, and he dared to do whatever he wanted with the banner of Immortal Emperor Yuheng, and he deserved it." Everyone was very interested, and they all said, "It turned out to be a rumor? This rumor was spread by someone surnamed Sun? Hey! This Sun Jinmin and the people from the giant beast team are really daring and dare to do anything, it must be the rumor spread. Immortal Emperor Yuheng went in the airs. I also know about this. I heard that those people went to Zhong'er city. When they were still in the city, they were beaten by those demons, and they were only put into the city. I heard that there are still others. The few people are going to have a contest with them, but I didn't expect it to be a rumor spread by this surnamed Sunday." That's right. This time I entered the law enforcement team, and I will be stripped of several layers of skin if I don't die, haha, happy. The cultivator who stayed with Sun Jinmin in a settlement before, recalled with hindsight, "No wonder, this rumor seems to have first spread from our settlement, but didn't it start after Sun Jinmin and the others came? A cultivator who was targeted by them has been out of luck, and now I don't know how many cultivators inside and outside the battlefield want to find them." Shi Cheng and Lu Peng also heard the rumors. They were dubious when the rumors reached their ears, but they were worried about the impact of the rumors on Gu Kai's team, but at that time, they could not contact Gu Yao and the four of them, and it was useless to worry about it. When the news of the rumor maker came out, the people from Zhenli's squad scolded Sun Jinmin and the giant beast squad with blood. They are getting more and more courageous, and they dare to provoke Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, thinking that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng can't hear or doesn't have the same knowledge as them. I'm afraid that the situation of Guk's team will not improve much because of this. Just the name that was once rumored will be targeted by many people. But I heard that they went with the Red Flame Sword Demon when they went to the second city. When we went together, I heard that they are still old acquaintances, and with the Red Flame Sword Demon joining them, they will be safer on the battlefield. Red Flame Sword Demon, it seems that the monks that Guk's team met are very remarkable. Even if they have nothing to do with Immortal Emperor Yu Heng, I don't think they are monks who have no background and will be bullied by others. All kinds of things outside, Guyao and several people in Zhong-Er city did not pay much attention to it, their focus was on the convergence with Master Liao Su. Especially Su Chen, after seeing Su, those eyes couldn't be removed from Su's body, and Su seemed to enjoy this feeling very much, and after arriving at Su's place, the two directly it disappeared, and as for what to do, even Su Chuan also showed a comprehensible look at Guyao and Qi Changjai. Of course, Su Chuan soon realized that with the addition of the Red Flame Saber Demon, his position in the Gukha team would be embarrassing, because everyone else was in pairs, and he was the only one. In the past, Guyao and Qi Changjai had a friendly conversation together, and he could still have Su Chen, who exuded resentment, as his company, but now, Su Chuan realized that his next life would be very difficult. Does he also want to find a Taoist companion, and then stick to showing affection all day long? Thinking about such a scene, Su Chuan hurriedly shook his head, and goosebumps appeared. Forget it, let's hurry up and practice while others are showing their affection. Guyao and Qi Changjai are very acquainted and don't disturb Su Chen and Su Su's relationship. After all, they have been separated for so many years. Of course, both of them are very experienced. It's not the first time. To save others by himself, Guyao can't stand being separated from Qi Changjai. He can't stand it even thinking about it. If you think about it like this, the rumors outside don't matter. Besides, the rumors are not entirely wrong. After all, Yu Heng the Immortal Emperor really took good care of them. So the two of them and Su Chuan simply retreated here and concentrated on their cultivation. Now they won't know the follow-up development. They don't know that almost all the monks in the second city are paying attention to their movements. On the territory of the Red Flame Sword Demon, no one will show up again? If it wasn't for the fact that they were old acquaintances with the Red Flame Sword Demon, they would have suspected that they would have been captured by the Red Flame Sword Demon to destroy their corpses. Tisk tisk, let me just say it. This rumor is false. It was created by people with ulterior motives to deal with them. I didn't expect it to be clarified by Xian Wuotang so quickly. But I said a few of them are too calm. I wonder if so many of us want to meet them for a while. It's not because they are afraid of us and have been afraid to come out. Oh, if you have the ability, you can fight Ji Xianming first, and it's not too late to challenge them after you have beaten Ji Xianming. That's not what I said. You have seen the scene that day. That guy's spiritual root technique is specially designed to defeat Ji Xianming. Isn't it normal that Ji Xianming can't beat him? A normal ghost, no matter how normal you are, in the early stage of being able to be an immortal, you can beat the middle stage of the sky level. To be honest, although Xian Wuotang's attitude has spread to the second city, it has not affected the views of the demon cultivator in the second city of the Gukha team. Regardless of the truth or falsehood of the rumors, they are more interested in it. The title of defeat suspected Immortal Emperor Yu Heng disciple, coupled with Qi Changjai's impressive strength, some of the arrogant sons who didn't like to be involved in these things also came out. Who would have thought that these few people would not be able to leave the door behind closed doors, which made a lot of heaven's favorite people regret. Ji Xianming was also surrounded by several monks whose strength was comparable to his. They didn't show up that day, so there was a lot of gossip about the battle between Ji Xianming and Qi Changjai. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 658. The surname G, did you really lose to a guy from the early days of Immortals? The person who asked was a cultivator who did not look like a demon cultivator, with a smile on his lips, gentle and graceful. Of course, this was only an appearance. At this moment, Lan Ming asked with a look of schadenfreude. Of course, he also had doubts in addition to schadenfreude. They all knew Xianming's strength, and they didn't dare to say that he would definitely win if they were replaced, not to mention that he was still a sword cultivator in the early days of Immortals. Ji Xianming is not an ordinary mid-level demon cultivator, his pair of soul-devouring blades have even killed the late-level void beast. Luo Yuan poured Ji Xuanming's wine diligently. Yes, let's talk about it, or are you embarrassed to tell us? On the other side is a demon cultivator with long, narrow, and long fox eyes, smiling very nicely. I'm not interested in that sword cultivator, I just wanted to meet the red flame sword demon for a while. It's a pity to hide such a face. For such a long time, otherwise I would have talked to him long ago. What about after the chat? Do you want to scratch his face? You can't see other men looking better than you. Ji Xianming ruthlessly exposed the true face of this demon cultivator. Hu Zhufei gave a wink. It's not bad that I am an old acquaintance of Huju, I know so well, although I don't look down on that black witch. Maybe if the witch of Haisha is willing to disband the harem for him, it can be seen that his beauty is extraordinary, and I am not allowed to go to Bibi? Luo Yuan shivered, feeling this Fox 9 came to the Void Beast battlefield, not to hunt the Void Beast, but to compare the beauty. Be careful, Senior Huixu asks you to settle accounts. What's the matter? Is there anything we don't know? Ji Xianming and Lan Minggu immediately looked at these two guys. Hu Ju shrugged and said, there's nothing that can't be said, I just heard a few words from the seniors in the clan, and I came across it and took care of it. Don't ask me, I don't know the reason, and then blinked again, but there is. Something can be done. What's the matter? Lan Minggu asked curiously. Hu Ju refused to explain. You will find out later. Then he changed the subject. Have you noticed, come to me recently? Among them, there are more monks in the second city, and there are many immortal monks among them. They are not just for the Gukha team, right? Others are also very cooperative. It also needs to be said that although there are clarifications from Immortal Emperor Yu Heng and Xian Wuotang, but that guy has held the title of disciple of Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. Of course, he does not rule out fishing in troubled waters. But Zhongerchange is not a good place, since they dare to step in. How can they be worthy of them if they don't let them peel off? These four people did not come forward, but the monks who came to Gukha's team soon discovered that they were being harassed everywhere, and they couldn't scream in pain, and the other party could always find a reason. Even if it was reported to the law enforcement team, it was nothing use. What do the demon cultivators in the city call this harassment or provocation? It's called normal discussion and communication. It's okay if you don't want to discuss and communicate. Then you have to withstand the contempt of countless monks. Most monks can't stand it. Appalling. Ji Xianming and the others had watched a few games before they were bored. None of the monks who came here could arouse their desire to take action. They were too weak. They were going to go up and fight, and they were afraid that they would accidentally kill the other party. Because of this, they looked down on these people who dare to fight the idea of Gu Kai's team. They can't even beat the cultivators who are far less powerful than Ji Xianming. How can they still be Qi Changjai's opponents? Although there is restraint in the practice, including Lan Minggu and others, they all know in their hearts that it is not that simple. Wait, it wasn't Gu Yao and Qi Changjai who came out first, but Su Chen and Liao Su. When the two came out, they knew that the other three were still in retreat, so they didn't bother. As soon as the two moved, a visitor came. Seeing the long and narrow fox eyes of the visitor, Su Chen blinked and asked, "Who are you from Senior Huixu?" The person who came was Huju. His eyes turned around Su Chen and Su Su, and he smiled. You really know Senior Husu, that is. The elders in my clan have contacted me, but I thought you didn't need my care, and you could live well by yourself. I came here to buy some medicinal pills from you, okay? Then please come in. Su Chen will be a little more patient with good-looking people, it's pleasing to the eye, who doesn't like it? Liao Su followed behind him with a smile, and the red flame sword demon left people behind impression. Huju's fox eyes flickered. This situation seemed to be different from what he expected. He hadn't stared at the red flame saber demon much, and his Taoist companion looked at his face several times. So, did he come to see the beauty, or did he send himself to the door for others to see? However, the mood became more and more happy, and he exchanged some excellent quality medicine pills from Su Chen, and Su Chen also said, I made these medicine pills, my junior brother is in retreat, his medicine is better than mine. Well, the cultivation base is also higher than me, but I have to wait for him to go out to trade. Okay, then it's settled. I will come back when Donji Gu is out. Huju contacted Su Chen and Gu Yao's situation, and gained a new understanding of the previous rumors. The person behind this may be blind. The cat ran into the dead mouse, but went in the wrong direction. Perhaps it was not Immortal Emperor Yu Heng who had something to do with them, but another alchemist who had a very good relationship with Immortal Emperor Yu Heng. Therefore, the tribulation cultivator that Immortal Emperor Yu Heng took to protect the law that day should be Gu Yao of Gu Kai's team, which should be correct. Huju brought two people over for a walk and then left. No disputes and conflicts occurred, which disappointed the monks who were watching. As Huju returned, people came to ask for pills one after another, and they came. They are still demon cultivators, so those who are watching can't help but murmur in their hearts, what's going on? When Gu Yao and Qi Changjai finally exited the customs, Huju was the first to report, Master Gu Dan has finally exited, let Huju. It's been so hard to wait. Said these words to Gu Yao with that fox face, as if Gu Yao was a ruthless man who abandoned Huju. Huju was the resentful woman. Gu Yao, who just came out, still didn't understand what was going on. Chen came forward to explain it, while still not forgetting to look at Huju's face with admiration. There are many beautiful people in the Fox clan, and Huju is one of the outstanding ones, so you can imagine how beautiful she is. Gu Yao knew at a glance that his beautiful temperament had been violated again. Could it be that Master Su has not been able to satisfy him? Ba ba. Gu Yao quickly discarded the thoughts that popped up in his mind, and said sternly, so, what kind of medicine do fellow Daoists need? As long as I have it, I can trade it. If I don't have it, I need to give me some time. Huju handed over the prepared list. Although it can be purchased from Xian Wutang and Yao Wutang, the Fox clan and Yaoxiu also have their own distribution companies, but I have to say that the elixir I took back from Su Chen last time. The quality is very good, and Su Chen himself admitted that Gu Yao's alchemy is superior to him, so he made a list in advance. Gu Yao didn't expect the other party to be so well prepared. He glanced at it. He had most of the pills in the list. He took them out and made a deal with the other party. These medicinal pills, of course Huju paid a very generous reward. Huju gave it willingly. He only needed to know at a glance that the medicinal pill given by Gu Yao was of excellent quality, so this time he left with a more pleasant mood, making Lan Minggu and others who knew his temperament very strange. Well, usually Huju would show such an expression, after attacking the beauty of the other party and consolidating his position again. Could it be this time? Huju said displeased, is Huju such a superficial demon? Lan Minggu really wanted to say that you, Huju, are clearly you, but seeing the threatening color flashing in Huju's long and narrow eyes, he shook his head cowardly, of course not, you are a very deep demon. Seeing that Lan Minggu didn't say anything wrong, Huju threw a pill for him. Lan Minggu took a look and said in surprise, exquisite pill, Then he suddenly realized, I know you're here. The purpose is to trade these elixir. It seems that you have found a very good alchemist. It is no wonder that you have led many demon cultivators to visit here. Huju snatched that top-grade pill from Lan Mingwu again, but it shouldn't be wasted. Anyway, Lan Mingwu, a demon cultivator, is not suitable for using an elixir. The demon cultivator has no such scruples. Lan Mingwu tooted angrily. When he is rare. It's not an alchemist, the alchemist is only useful to him. But it didn't take long for Lan Mingwu to find out that the red flame saber demon was actually collecting the magic pill materials. When will the alchemist be able to refine the magic pill? Is it so good to be an alchemist? But Su Chen had experience in the spiritual world, and Gu Yao had also studied with Su Chen, so he knew this. More importantly, the elixir of magic pills is not separated in the book of pills at all. For the book of pills, they are all the same, so there are many introductions to the special refining methods of magic pills in the book of pills. Of course, all the magic pills released by Gu Yao were kept, and they were kept for trading immortal stones. For the magic pills that Su Chen needed for cultivation, he would never it from Su Chen. When Lan Mingwu got the news that Qi Changjai took the magic pill to trade in the shop, he almost jumped up from his seat and hurriedly asked his subordinates. Really magic pill? Not elixir. It's really the magic pill, young master, I have brought the magic pill back, young master, please take a look. His subordinates took out a few bottles of medicinal pills, traded the magic pill with Qi Changjai's forefoot, and those who were staring at him put the magic pill on the back foot. Dan bought it from the shop again. The shopkeeper dared to confront Lan Mingwu and handed over the magic pill honestly. Top grade. Top grade. It's top grade again. Lan Mingwu opened the jade bottles to check, and there were none lower than the top grade pills. He was greatly shocked. He had traveled many places in the demon world, but he had never heard of any magic alchemist who could refine elixir, or which elixir. Is it so easy for a teacher to refine magic pills? Lan Mingwu couldn't hold back, and hurriedly brought a batch of materials to his door. High-grade pills are not uncommon, but what if they were top-grade pills? Is it possible for them to refine the best magic pill? When he came back late, he told Gu Yao and Su Chen about the situation of being stared at. Su Chen clapped his hands and said, I'll just say, they can't help but stare, I'm here to show some interest. Now, why don't we do the magic pill business for a while? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 659. Gu Yao agreed with Su Chen's proposal to stay in the middle and second city for a while refining the elixir and doing the magic elixir business, which is conducive to the overall improvement of their elixir skills. So when Lan Mingwu went to the door to ask for pills, Gu Yao and Su Chen did not respond, but Gu Yao made another request, hoping that Lan Mingwu would agree, that is to accept Qi Changjai's challenge. Lan Mingwu was very surprised and glad agreed, since Qi Changjai fought Ji Xianming, he also wanted to meet this fairy sword cultivator for a while. So next, the 5 members of Gu Kai's team all found their own affairs. Gu Yao and Su Chen were in charge of alchemy, Qi Changjai, Su Chuan and Liao Su were often in the ring, taking turns to compete with various masters. I have to say, although Zhong Erchange is relatively chaotic, the heavenly masters gather together, and even Su Chuan returns every time he is satisfied. Even if he loses, and he fights with masters from all walks of life, that kind of satisfaction cannot be replaced by winning or losing. As a result, in the second city, the Guka team became famous again. The first time he became famous was because there were cultivators among them who were suspected disciples of Immortal Emperor Yuheng, which attracted cultivators from all walks of life. The second time it became famous, it was because there were 2 alchemy masters in Guka's team. They could not only refine elixir, but also magic elixir, and there were two monks with amazing combat power in the team. Challenge the masters of Zhong-Urchange. These two alchemists have a weird rule, come to ask for alchemy. Yes, but the pill seeker must first fight with the members of the team. Regardless of the winner, the two elixir masters will concoct pills for the pill seeker, and the remuneration they receive is much lower than that of other pill masters. This bizarre rule was temporarily cited as a strange thing by everyone, but there were still monks who came to ask for pills and willingly accepted the challenge of the Gukha team, which attracted the attention of all the monks in Zhong-Urchange, and even Zhong-Urchange. The monks outside came to watch and join in the fun because of this strange thing. At first, Guyao came up with this idea in a flash. After all, Qi Changjai cannot be allowed to stay with him in Zhong-Er city all the time, and he cannot get exercise. The good news is that whether it is Qi Changjai or Liao Su and Su Chuan, they are all from Qi Changjai. Experience the fun and harvest in each arena battle. May I ask which place in this fairy, demon, and demon world gathers masters from all walks of life? In addition to the first city, this is the second city. Guyao saw that the three of Qi Changjai were very devoted and their strength had grown considerably. While alchemy, he could not help but think that when there is no opponent to challenge here in the second city, maybe they should consider moving to the first city and continue their way. Strategy. They didn't know that the sensation they created in Zhongai city had already spread to Zhongai city, which attracted a lot of discussion among the monks in Zhongai city. That weird team won't come to our Zhongai city next stop, will it? When our Zhongai city is a mixed place like Zhongai city. Hey, don't rush to a conclusion. It's interesting if I say it's true. My junior brother is in the middle of the second city. Who told me that there is a place where fish and dragons are mixed up, and where should my junior brother be placed? Yes, our demon cultivator also has many monks with good combat power in Zhong-Urchange. According to the news from them, the team's alchemy skills are very good, and the cultivator's combat power is also very amazing. What's the use of just going to the arena to fight in the arena? Which of the monks who came here is not the strength to fight on the Void Beast battlefield? Losing and winning depends on how many Void Beasts are killed and how many points are obtained. Actually, let's not say anything else, just rely on those two elixir masters to be able to refine magic pills. It would be very good if they came to our middle city. This is the magic pill that came from over there. You can see how the quality is. A magic cultivator took out a bottle of magic pill and let everyone take a look. Many people's eyes showed strange colors, and the top grade magic pill is indeed very good. In this way, I hope they can progress faster and come to our Zhongai city earlier. The members of the Hurricane Squad in Zhongai city also heard about the various deeds of the Gukha Squad, and some people were unhappy. Grandfather, I don't know what it is. An immortal cultivator has been in the company of a demon cultivator all day long, and he has made a lot of fanfare, and the world knows it. Recently, this Gukha team is quite high profile. First, it was named by Immortal Emperor Yuheng, and now they have done this again. Where to put it together with Immortal Emperor Yuheng? Immortal Emperor Yuheng's reputation is all obtained by hunting void beasts on the battlefield, and he has many achievements in battle. It doesn't matter what they do, just do our own thing, arrange it. We will go out of the city tomorrow, and this time we will go a little farther out of the city. Yes, Captain. However, the immortal cultivator in Void City didn't know it in detail. After all, after Xian Wutang came forward to clarify, most cultivators knew that Gukha's team had nothing to do with Immortal Emperor Yuheng, and their attention was reduced. In addition, they stayed all the time. In Zhong-Urchange, after a long time, the attention will be diverted by other things. But this is not the case for the monks and forces who have been paying attention to them, such as Juding Hall. Of course, their focus at the moment is also on ancient times. Yao and Su Chen, the two elixir masters. What's going on? I've never heard of an alchemist in their squad before. The alchemists still went to the battlefield. What kind of magic pill does a good elixir master make? Grandstanding, some people expressed disdain, thinking that such an elixir master will not achieve too high in the future, because elixir masters also need to focus. It is said that their alchemy skills are superb. Can they still surpass the alchemy masters trained by Arjuting Hall? Third elders, should we continue to send people to watch them? The subordinate asked. Elder, recently, not only have our alchemists lost in Juting Hall, but also went to the alchemy hall of Xian Wuotang, and lost a lot of orders. A steward reported carefully, and if he didn't report, he would have to accept it. Orders and revenue kept falling. What's the matter? Before the first elder could speak, other elders asked unhappily, is it the ghost of Xian Wuotang? It's a white-eyed wolf. If it weren't for Arjuting Hall, would this huge void beast battlefield survive? Are you going to cross the river and demolish the bridge now? The previous list, which listed the flow direction of the medicine pills and immortal grass in the Void City recently, in addition to the medicine hall of the Xian Wuotang, was divided into a part, and there was a newly joined caravan, which moved the medicine pills from it. Is not a small impact on the medicine business of Juting Hall, but there is no way for Juting Hall to offend them, because these large caravans also shoulder the supply of immortal grass. Although these medicinal pills were transported in from the outside, it took manpower and material resources along the way, but the price after transporting them to Void City was not higher than the price indicated by Juting Hall, so it was very popular among the middle and lower level cultivators. Compared with the outside world, the price of the medicine pills sold by Juting Hall is on the high side. It used to be a monopoly business in the past, but now there are many more competitors. Naturally, the price has begun to decrease. Great news for the monks. But in the eyes of Juting Hall, these monks and Xian Wuotang are all white-eyed wolves. Elder, we can't let Xian Wuotang bully us like this. In the future, this Void City, and our Juting Temple's foothold? I think they just want to squeeze us out. The great elder, who had been keeping his eyes closed, finally opened his eyes swept across the crowd, and he was not angry. Arjuting Hall really can't go on like this. Arjuting Hall must let Xian Wu Hall and all the monks understand that this Void the City and the Void Beast battlefield are inseparable from Arjuting Palace, and Arjuting Palace is based on our own strength in the Void City. The third elder is overjoyed. Elder, you are making a decision. Yes, Arjuting Hall should launch the divine elixir that we have been studying. That's great, it's long overdue to make such a decision, and let the white-eyed wolves outside see our strength and background, but not all loose cultivators can put pressure on us. Many elders and alchemy masters happy road. In such a happy voice, some dissenting voices were suppressed. Dishan Dan is indeed the elixir that Juting Hall has been focusing on researching, but there are still some flaws in the research. It wasn't time to push it out, but it seemed that even the great elder couldn't hold back. On the Void Beast battlefield, there has been a problem for a long time, which has plagued all the monks who entered the battlefield, that is, staying on the battlefield for a long time, affected by various evil spirits and negative atmosphere. The monk's soul will inevitably be contaminated. Usually the manifestation is that the cultivator's temper will become irritable and easily angered. It is fine at first and has little impact, but it will increase the difficulty of cultivating the cultivator to break through. There is no shortage of elixir for spirits, whether it is elixir or magic pill, but today's various pills have very limited effects on cleaning the impurities on the soul. Yes, but no good results have been produced so far. Now, once the Juting Hall launches the divine purifying pill, it will undoubtedly win a great reputation among the monks, and the difficulties they face will be solved easily, and even go a step further on the original basis. As for the two grandstanding elixir masters that appeared in the second city, although Juting Palace paid attention to them, they put aside more important things at the moment. They were just two heaven-level elixir masters, and they could not make much difference to the overall situation of Void City. After all, Even if two heaven-level alchemy masters alchemy all day and night, how many elixir can they refine? Compared with the needs of the entire Void City, it is only a drop in the bucket. Judding Hall quickly mobilized its own elixir master, refining a furnace of cleansing pill, and listing it for sale in the exclusive shop of Judding Hall, which soon had a great response in Void City, attracting many monks and forces to pursue. Just now the released elixir was snapped up, but the number of orders continued to increase. The divine elixir was a rare event. Alchemist May, this is the cleansing pill from Judding Hall. An elder from Xianwu Hall came to Maigzun with a pill. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 660. Xianwutang and Dantang have not relaxed their vigilance against Judding Hall. As soon as Judding Hall launched the divine pill, they knew that this was a counter-attack from Judding Hall, so they quickly got the divine pill and sent it to Mei Sun. The other high-level alchemists of Dantang were also present. They also knew that once Dantang did not have a corresponding strategy, Judding Hall's divine purifying pill had the upper hand. Domination situation, so pay attention to this matter. Very. Mei Sun scratched some powder, tasted it, and carefully understood the medicinal power. After a while, she opened her eyes and said, "It does have some effect, but the effect of the cleansing pill is only to reduce, not to cure, and it cannot finally solve the soul. This is a preliminary conclusion, and the rest will wait for further research." Xianwutang Elder Qin said solemnly, "This matter will be handed over to Pill Master Mei. If there is any need, please ask Pill Master Mei and everyone to do as you please, and Xianwutang will fully assist Dantang." Woman, the launch of the divine elixir has a great impact on the elixir market in Void City. Many forces have reversed their previous attitude and have restarted their cooperation with Judding Hall. Some forces are watching, if there is no one who can compete with the divine elixir. When the medicinal herbs appeared, they could only compromise with Judding Hall. The alchemist of Judding Hall went out and raised his arrogance again. In his words, he must mention the kindness of Judding Hall to the monks on the Void Beast battlefield. Affection. Middle City. Luo Yuan hurriedly came to the residence of Guka's team. "Master Gu, Master Chen, I brought the new cleansing pill from Judding Hall. The problem of the soul also exists for the demon cultivator, so the release of the Dishan Dan also attracted their attention." Luo Yuan tried his best to get one and bring it to Gu Yao. The first time they saw Luo Yuan, Gu Yao and the others had suspected his relationship with Luo Yang. Luo Yuan admitted frankly that Luo Yang was one of his uncles. Because of this relationship, Gu Yao and several people had a very good impression of Luo Yuan. Okay. The sensation caused by the divine purifying pill, even Gu Yao, who was in Zhong-Er City and did not hear anything outside the window, had heard of it. It can be seen that its influence is great. Of course, it may also be that the publicity of Judding Hall is strong enough. Gu Yao, who first entered the Void Beast battlefield, did not feel much about it. They only learned about it from others because of the divine purification pill. This is that the longer they stay on the Void Beast battlefield, the more they will be affected. Because the harvest here is huge and the strength is improved quickly, so knowing that there will be a certain negative effect, there will still be a large number of monks coming one after another. Immortals. Gu Yao took the medicine pill and said thank you. Dishan Dan was so popular, it was not easy for him to get one, but Luo Yuan and the others were different. After Gu Yao learned about the effect of the divine elixir, he had to pay attention, because it would affect him and Su Chen's master. Who knew that Mei Sun was now the most influential alchemist in the pill hall of Xianwu Hall. If Judding Hall completely gained the upper hand, it is conceivable what kind of situation master will face. Although he has not had a direct conversation with his master, from the spiritual realm to the immortal realm, Gu Yao could not feel master's attention to him everywhere, and he could not do without his help along the way. Gu Yao also scraped some powder and tasted it. The medicinal power that entered his body quickly flowed into the sea of knowledge, and Guyao's divine consciousness surrounded it closely, not letting go of any changes. Guyao didn't know what other people's spirits were like, but he knew that his spirits were clear and unsullied. He had checked them carefully and thought it was because he had been on the battlefield for a short time, so he was not affected at all. Therefore, the divine purifying pill should not have any effect on him. When the medicinal power reaches the soul, there seems to be a light wind blowing through it. If the medicinal power is increased, it will definitely produce an extremely refreshing feeling. However, after the medicinal power was over, Guyao discovered something more on top of the original innocent soul. The divine consciousness that had been prepared earlier quickly dispatched, carried the extra things out, took out a special jade bottle, and put it sealed in the bottle. Guyao's spirit returned to calm. What's going on? Is there something wrong with this divine purifying pill? Luo Yuan's expression changed, and he hurriedly asked, the current news is that the divine purifying pill needs to be taken every once in a while, and it is time sensitive. Guyao was not sure, and said, you can also taste it. What does it feel like? Several people, including Su Chuan, scratched some medicinal powder and tasted it, but no matter how they reminisced, they could only feel the effect of the medicinal pill itself. Using it, there is no other discovery. Su Chen's feeling is the same as Mei Suan's, just like Luo Yuan said, it is time sensitive, and it must be taken every once in a while, otherwise it will return to the past state. If other forces cannot develop medicinal pills similar to the divine purifying pill, then the medicinal pill market in Void City will be completely monopolized by Juding Hall in the future. It is estimated that no one will be happy to see this result. Guyao thought about it and said, I need to study it again. Luo Yuan guessed what Guyao had found, but he couldn't be sure, so he supported, well, I'll find a way to get 2 more divine purifying pills. In addition, I'll inquire about the materials they used in Juding Hall. Thank you, Deist Luo. Both Guyao and Su Chen stopped taking orders, closed their doors to study the divine elixir, and announced that they were closed to the outside world. Soon after, Luo Yuan sent 2 divine elixir, and Hu Ju also got 2 and sent them together. Come here, and both of them sent a list of materials purchased by Juding Hall. In the pill room, Su Chen held his chin and did not need the list of materials sent by Luo Yuan and the others. The two had already analyzed some of the herbs and ingredients needed for this pill, which did not completely coincide with the list of materials. Su Chen believed in his own abilities, and even more in Guyao's alchemy and special consciousness and soul. Seeing that Guyao was watching the transparency in his hand, the liquid in the vessel asked, Xiaoao, what did you find? You must have found something when Luo Yuan sent the divine pill over. Guyao brought the utensil in his hand to Su Chen, brother, guess what is inside? Su Chen pushed forward, I wanted to ask you for a long time. I have seen it, but I didn't recognize it. The cleansing pill can work. It is this thing that plays a vital role. It has been studied, and it is mainly an auxiliary role. Guyao lowered his eyelids and said, if my expectations are correct, this thing is an extract of a different flower, then raised his eyes and said, Senior brother, you didn't read carefully, the elixir book mentions a species called soul poppy. A flower of flowers. Su Chen rolled his eyes several times and touched his head. He really didn't remember that there was such a strange flower recorded in the elixir book. He could only laugh. Flowers, petals are so colorful that people can't take their eyes away from them. Su Chen was shocked. When did he get this? Could this be the soul poppy? Where did it come from? Guyao explained, it was sent by the 9th Taoist friend of the fox family, and it is produced in a very special place in the demon world. The fox clan will use this to make a special medicine. This medicine is combined with the charm of the fox clan, and the effect will be reduced. Doubled, but Hu Ju also said that only people with low ability of the fox clan can use it, and he carries it with him, just because he thinks the soul poppy is beautiful, and he uses it to appreciate it. Hey, this is in line with Huju's temperament. Why didn't he give me one? By the way, how did the book describe it? Su Chen took the box and observed it carefully. As soon as Gu Yao thought about it, the book of pills flew from his danchan to the palm of his hand, and automatically turned to the page where the soul poppy was recorded. Su Chen looked over and saw at a glance that the word "use with caution" was used behind the soul poppy as a reminder, but if used properly, this soul poppy is a good thing, and can be used to refine several kinds of spirits related to the soul. The elixir with the sea of knowledge. As for why it should be used with caution, the relevant content is also recorded later. After reading the latter content, Su Chen gasped. Could it be that the divine purifying pill has such a problem? You discovered it at the beginning. Gu Yao pointed to the transparent liquid in the transparent vessel and said, I found out that this thing will be attached to the soul at first. If it can't be removed, it will accumulate after each consumption. What kind of impact will it have on the monks? It's hard to say. Maybe the cultivator will be more dependent on the cleansing pill, and may even devour the soul in the end. Su Chen sucked in the air again. This is a life-saving medicine, it is clearly a deadly poison. How many outsiders will believe what we say? Su Chen said. Gu Yao said, then we will launch a new medicinal pill with better efficacy, and make the medicinal formula of the cleansing pill available to the public. What side effects will the cleansing pill have? Needless to say, some alchemists will see it themselves. Come out, soul poppy, I believe there are still alchemists who can recognize it. Su Chen asked again, Xiaoao, how confident are you that you can develop a better medicine pill? Always give it a try. With senior brother helping me, I will have a better grasp. Okay, senior brother will accompany you. Before studying the new alchemy recipe, Gu Yao, who was not at ease, sent the liquid extracted from the cleansing dan in Luo Yuan's hand to the alchemist of Xian Wutang Maixuan. At the same time, Luo Yuan also learned from Gu Yao about his and Su Chen's analysis of the divine purifying pill. Like Su Chen, he took a deep breath. Although he got the purifying pill, he did not rush to take it, because it was far from affecting his breakthrough. At the time, he felt that he could still wait a bit, because his impression of Juding Hall was not very good. So, there is such a big hidden danger in the cleansing pill? Is Juding Hall making fun of the spirits of all monks? The joke? Probably too big. No one would have thought that Gu Yao and the others would join the power of the Demon Realm's Extreme Demon Temple, and they would be able to pass the transfer of the Extreme Demon Temple, and the things would be delivered to Mei Sun smoothly. He turned around and asked to see alchemist Xie Yuan, who had not left yet.